Lebanon did not want to be part of the US-Iran negotiations. So Lebanon has its own framework agreement now, the result of direct negotiations between Israel and Lebanon,
which is quite unusual. Yeah.
Which is very unusual. It's a historic first or second, because we've had something similar in 1983. And those negotiations are very welcome in Lebanon, although the resulting framework agreement has also been criticized by the Lebanese for giving away too much to Israel in the short term. Lebanon has very little leverage in these negotiations. The fundamental misunderstanding between the two sides is that Lebanon sees this framework agreement as a way to get an Israeli full withdrawal from Lebanon, and Israel reads it as a long-term lease on occupying South Lebanon until the Lebanese authorities disarm Hezbollah. And that idea that we're going to forcibly disarm Hezbollah and send Lebanese soldiers to fight Hezbollah militants who are also Lebanese, I think we need to move away from that. This is not going to happen. It is an idea that is prevalent in Israel, and I've heard from thinkers and analysts in Israel that the thought in Israel is that since we have not been able to militarily defeat Hezbollah, then let's let the Lebanese fight it out with each other, and if there's a civil war, that's fine. That is precisely what we need to try to avoid, and that is precisely what President Joseph Aoun is now in Washington discussing with President Trump.
So is this essentially just going to be used as a veto over Iranian stabilization by Hezbollah, by the Israelis? I mean, if at any point the Iranians are unhappy with the environment, they tell Hezbollah they've got leadership control over them, you've got to engage in more strikes. If any time the Israelis are unhappy with what the United States is doing with Iran, settlement towards some level of peace or a deal, whatever that means, then the Israelis are able to, simply drive farther into Lebanon. Is that the way we should be reading this right now?
So what's interesting right this minute is as the MOU is falling apart, the negotiations between Israel and Lebanon are continuing. And that is happening with US oversight and a lot of US encouragement. Marco Rubio seems to be very focused on trying to make Lebanon a success. They want a success in the Middle East, and it could start with Lebanon potentially. I think, we don't want to be Pollyannish or be too optimistic, but certainly for the Lebanese, that is a hope. And it would be interesting if this is where the success begins, because this is where America's first big failure in the Middle East took place in the 1980s, when Israel invaded Lebanon in 1982, and then the US sent Marines in to stabilize the situation. Hezbollah was born, and Iran founded its most successful export, Hezbollah, exporting the revolution. So it's quite interesting that we've come full circle now.